worry, but these things are going up. But these things are going up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but
Queen
up.
Mother Fannie Lou Hamer
Nothing but up.
today, continuing from yesterday where we talked about the pig banking that she was able to get going in Mississippi to help so many folks. And so, yeah, super grateful and excited to be going through this info with y'all. And yeah, we're going to jump into it. Once Brother Tut is able to join us. And hey, what's good, Raquel? What's good, Cam? 1 second. Cool. So, yeah, today we're in chapter 8, Collective Courage. I guess to ground us in our studies for today. I want to acknowledge and I guess honor the work that like women have put forward to really like push the Black community forward in ways that you know, we're still wrapping our heads around. I mean, the time is now, y'all. I get anxiety attacks about like wanting for us to like just be good and not have to worry about like what's gonna change, what the government's gonna do, if they're gonna like move according to the will of the people. So yeah, like being able to come here and like study about collective effort and learn how folks were able to create like little bubbles of autonomy, it brings me joy. Yeah, just grateful. Hey, what's good, Tut?
What's up, brother? Beautiful opening, bro. Right on time. Double tapping, I shared everything you said. Straight up.
That's what's up, man. You staying busy, I know.
Man, guys too, bro. It's harvest time, man. On multiple levels. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Bro, today's a good day. I won a new coworker at the Law Center, Mwende. Like has been wanting to get to know everyone at the Law Center, so she's been calling folks and asking if she can do like a walk with people to get to know them. And so
That's
that's
what's
how I
up.
started the day, and it was good.
Nice walk. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little grounding myself. Me and Lil Man went outside and just kind of did some earthing,
Mm-hmm.
did a little martial arts, and yeah, man. Beautiful, bro.
Bro, isn't Lil Man like 4? You doing martial arts with him?
Yeah, he's 3, man. He on his way to 4. You'd be surprised, bro. He's gonna be tall.
Yeah.
He's gonna be tall.
Bro, judging man, yeah, he got them genes from you, bro. Dude. Like you be
He
tired.
got some of it, but the rest of it he got from somewhere else. I'm telling you, it's beautiful how they come down, man. The next generation, bro. That's why this work is so critical, because they got the energy. We just got to make sure that the space is open for them to do what they need to do. They got the energy and the determination already. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Tweety Fresca, I work at Sustainable Economies Law Center in Oakland. But I love the folks at East Bay Law Center too.
I say, oh yeah, much love. Yes, self care. Oh yeah,
Always needed.
that is true wealth.
Hmm.
A lot of hearts coming through. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So let's jump into page 181 on Collective Courage, Chapter 8. Black Rule. One of your friends to come in and learn this stuff with us. And appreciate y'all for putting in the comments and the questions. Yeah, please, like, this is all about engagement. So be thankful and grateful. All right, so yesterday with Ayano, who like really went in talking about the pig bank. Wow, like so Fannie Lou Hamer was definitely a woman who knew where she came from, knew who she wanted to help, and went out and got the money. And we kind of talked about that yesterday with the pig banking. And today we're going to start off with the Freedom Farm Corporation, which was officially constituted or incorporated in June 1970 as a nonprofit agricultural and charitable corporation in Mississippi state law. And so this corporation was created to be benevolent, to accumulate funds to help with relief of destitution and poverty, social, helping its members to improve their conditions. It was about property ownership, so receiving donations or receiving properties to manage and give over to the folks who are using the space. And it was also charitable, and they were doing other business purposes, which we'll talk about. And so in 1970, Fannie Lou Hamer was describing the goals of Freedom Farm as they needed to capitalize on the manifest need for the close study of disadvantaged communities and bring change through development. And so by 1973, they were describing the farm's purpose as the purpose was to develop a Black-controlled institution that would have its strengths in the land and would be able to support the indigent Black and whites in the Sunflower County area that are being displaced by increased mechanization of agricultural production. And I just want to say, bro, like this kind of sounds a little bit familiar. I'm hearing the word displaced. It's all about mechanization or like an increase in technology and how that's like bumping out the folks who have been doing it. And we're kind of seeing that here in the Bay Area, right? Where like the tech and all of that comes with San Francisco is starting to displace people.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
And they said progress, but we definitely see digressions in our own, you know what I'm saying, economic ability to, like, you know what I'm saying, even live here. Like, who would have thought 10 years ago that Oakland would be so, like, we would have to deal with so much displacement, you know, such a rapid pace.
I think we thought it was going to stay in San Francisco.
Right. Wouldn't even go over there. Like, yeah, it's interesting how it can just seep over. And the whole Silicon Valley, man, and this whole little canal of technology and so-called advancement it shows like the separation of the average day folks. You know, people that are being left out that, like what you touched on, have been doing the work, consistent work for years, sometimes decades, and now just kind of like lost everything to a $1 million millennial that had a great idea, which take nothing away from them, but come on, man.
So at Freedom Farm, they had a structure and a process that allowed for low-income and destitute rural people, Black and white at first, and then primarily women and Black people, to feed themselves, own their own homes, farm cooperatively, and create small businesses together in order to support a sustainable food system, land ownership, and economic independence. Wow. Still need that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we go over to page 182, this community prosperity developed through mutual aid and joint ownership at the community level, connected to nationwide advocacy and philanthropy.
Mm.
And so Fannie Lou Hamer, a great orator, like everyone knows about her speeches, great fundraiser. Um, she was referring to the pig bank that they created as Oink Oink. And they also were doing farming, housing, education, and business initiatives through Freedom Farm that they were getting donations and investments for. And so they had an initial 40 acres in Drew, Mississippi, where they planted cotton, soybeans, and vegetables. The profits from the sales of the cotton and the soybeans were used to make the land payments, and then vegetables were gathered and given to needy families of both races. So they knew that they could pay for their land with the cash crops, and so they planted those, but then they also had spaces to feed themselves.
I say that's why profitability is so important, family, to support the work.
Yeah.
I was just on the call yesterday where, a young group of folks want to keep doing the nonprofit work, but we have to understand I have a plan to sustain ourselves and have some income generating services or products to support the nonprofit work.
Yeah, because this is like profit is literally surplus, and we're seeing that here on the farm. Like they were able to have enough surplus to feed themselves and their family, on top of being able to pay for the necessities.
Mm.
And so we're seeing Freedom Farm plan to develop a vegetable bank as well. Everyone who helped the harvest would receive the vegetables. And so their first crop picked those greens and vegetables. And they also were able in 1970 to donate surplus vegetables to Chicago, making urban-rural connections. And like, I mean, what better solution is that? Like, if the folks in the rural areas have enough food, like, don't give it to Walmart or like, give it to the folks who you need it. Like, if you got family in Chicago, ship it to Chicago, and they did that.
That's what's up.
And now we're seeing that they're also getting into some housing initiatives. It consisted first of purchasing 3 houses and 2 lots in Ruleville, nearby in Mississippi. These properties were resold to tenants on a rent-to-own plan, where the tenants' rent payments were converted, in effect, into mortgage payments. That kind of sounds like East Bay Prec a little bit.
That's what's up.
And the second initiative was the purchase of 27 lots and they would help families apply for FHA, Farmers Home Administration loans, to do those lots.
Mm.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Bruh, so they got people they got food, they got people housing, and so like basic necessities are met, sounds like. There was also educational initiatives consisting of mostly a few grants to college students, but the business initiatives, they had a fashion shop in Drew where they had that initial 40 acres. They gave some small business loans, and they were planning to establish a sewing cooperative. And so they gave out loans of up to $2,000 before 1960 that they were planning to create. And they were also planning to create other ancillary clothing or retail shops. And so the sewing factory, it says, was operating for about a year. And they also were able to create and finance a daycare center for the garment factory.
Wow. All from the farm, brother.
Wow.
From the Freedom Farm. All that work.
That's amazing.
That's dope.
Wow. We're really going to have
every week.
Print, bro. Like, wow.
Where the black farmers at, man? People on this live, man, who got that green thumb, man. This is your week. DM us or just get the ball rolling. I mean, study this, break it apart, piece by piece. See what your first step should be. Come up with a 10-step strategy plan, and then reach out. I mean, this is it, man.
So on the bottom of page 182 of Collective Courage, we're seeing that they were able to receive a grant in 1971 from the Black Economic Research Council. And so in February of 1971, they made a down payment of $84,000 on a 640 acres of land. Most of the acres would again be used for cash crops so that they could pay for the land. 300 acres in cotton, 209 acres in soybeans, and then the rest of the acres, about 200 or so, for fresh vegetables to be distributed to needy families.
Ooh. And DM us. We'll put our minds together, come up with something.
Yeah, let's
That's
make
what's
that
up.
plan, bro. Like I'm starting to understand that. Like I really like creating projections and budgets. I'm not the best like accounting person, but like creating those projections and like seeing how a business could potentially succeed is really fun for me. So I'm down to help you with that.
That's it.
Okay, so we're seeing that Freedom Farm was also able to partner with the local housing development corporation, Delta Housing, which was a self-help housing organization, to build 64 homes in Sunflower County with funding from the FHA.
Hmm.
Construction was to begin in July of 1972. They also put down options on 89 lots for low-income families who would then apply for FHA loans. All but 2 of the families already were approved when they got those options.
That's what's up.
And so, moving to the top of page 183, we're seeing that Freedom Farm's original investment resulted in more than $800,000 in FHA mortgage loans. They were able to house so many people. And Freedom Farm also expanded in social services to help people purchase food stamps, foods, and clothing, and to provide disaster relief after a tornado. It engaged 6 neighborhood youth corps workers to conduct a survey to help determine the level and types of need in the county. All right, so they're staying in touch with their consumer base and seeing what they want, or what their customer base, I should say. And Freedom Farm was then successful in raising funds to purchase, or maybe they received donations. They received almost $63,000, which they used to purchase 3 tractors, a backhoe, a loader, a special combine, 5 cotton trailers, a plow, and some row markers. And they purchased all of this without even having adequate sheds or storage space for most of the equipment. I think that might be a red flag after having read this before. I mean, yeah, like, bro, we gotta take the steps to maintain our things, right? Like, if we're gonna buy all this special equipment, like maybe we don't buy one of the things so that we can afford a shed to put the things in. You know,
balance it out. Yes, and that's proper planning. Proper planning. But that's why the Black print is so important, so we can look back and say, okay, 80%, 90%, 95%, we made a little hiccup. I swear, if this was a plate, you'll think I'd be eating some soul food right now. This whole little 2 pages is packed full of good information.
And I'm glad that we're taking the time to like read it bit by bit, because like before it was always like trying to speed through it just so I could say I finished the chapter and talk with it, but like we actually get a chance to like engage with it a bit, which is nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So we're seeing in 1975 from a funding proposal that Freedom Farm announced it would target women, especially those who were heads of household and women farm laborers. Hamer's targeting of women may have been a function of her involvement in gender-based politics, but it is also probable that it reflected the needs of the community. There were changing demographics, meaning that there were more female-headed households at this time in 1975. I mean, I think you know why. Isn't that about the time that the like war on drugs starts, or is that the 80s? I think a little bit too.
A little bit soon, but they were working. That's like immediately after the 60s, and we know that they had a deliberate plan to attack the Black family.
Right.
Most definitely, that's around the time.
Okay, so context here though, just trying to figure out the demographics. We know that there was like the prison labor system that was going on hella much during like the Jim Crow era, but this is after that point, 1975. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
leading into the 80s. Yeah,
Yeah, leading into the 80s. That's interesting.
that's it. Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it's something that.
Freedom Farm was often referred to as a Freedom Farm co-op by Fannie Lou Hamer herself and others, because it intended to be cooperative businesses and to create cooperative businesses. It was also ran as a cooperative, but it was never formally chartered as a cooperative. It was chartered as a private, not-for-profit organization, and
Mm.
that's one of the things about like cooperative, collective work. Some of the times where you're living, they don't have statutes in their corporations code that allows for you to create a worker cooperative or any other kind of cooperative besides an agricultural cooperative. Um, but even like, let's say for the Sustainable Economies Law Center, that is a nonprofit, but it's ran cooperatively. And you can do that very easily with other cooperatives or with other nonprofits. You can be worker self-directed without being an official cooperative if it makes more sense for you to be a nonprofit, because the law center relies mostly on donations and foundation support, and so being a nonprofit is important, but we can still bring cooperative values in. Uh,
That's what's up. Thanks
yeah,
for sharing.
it's saying charter. So it's saying charter. It's also incorporation. So they're saying like, they put in their paperwork to be called a corporation, or they put in their paperwork to be called a nonprofit. Also national, and there are people working remotely all over the place.
This is key.
Okay, yeah, had to find my spot for a second. Okay, so for the Freedom Farm, there was a $1 monthly membership fee. And there also may have been like a $3 shares that they were selling for investment, or offering for investment, I should say. And these shares were for providing low-income families an opportunity to produce food for themselves on land owned by the corporation, and to build their own homes on land owned by their friends and brothers, with access to good farmland. Um, However, only uh, only 30 of the families at the time could afford this $1 monthly due. However,
Mm.
it says that there was about 1,500 families that belonged to or used the farm in some way, and so you know, come and get the what they needed.
See,
Um, but we're
and
seeing
that.
a problem here at the end. People were supposed to help harvest the crop, but oftentimes like people also came and just like helped themselves and didn't really like do it in a coordinated way. Um, and People also didn't do their part to help upkeep the farm, and so they were happy to receive the benefits of it, but they didn't want to like help upkeep, and so you know if you don't do maintenance, it's just gonna keep depreciating, I think is the word.
de- Depreciating and consuming itself, bro. That is a problem. Like you see that it said 25 families or 35, right? Was
Okay.
able to pay were able to pay the dollar monthly due. But then another 1,500 families
Mm.
belong to. Even if 50% of those people were 750,
Mhm.
you know, great things. They kept things going with 35 families. So we really have to check ourselves. We have to have accountability conversations. We have to have budgeting meetings. We have to have, you know what I'm saying, weekend bake sales to make sure like we check in with each other. It's not, we shouldn't be supporting each other's, um, what's a nice way of saying it? Inability to participate financially. We need to put our minds together so that we can, you know, strategize. Hey, man, seen you miss a few payments. How can we help out? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about our financial struggles. Let's be open with that so we can get the help we need, family. Because as you can, we start off good and we start to lose traction, lose money, or the funding that we get is cut off and we hit walls. We have enough resource. We have enough support. As long as we all chip in and we speak out about our financial situations and put our minds together to support each other. That's a heartbreaking sentence right here, man.
But I think it's also like it seemed like, and we'll learn a little bit more tomorrow because this is the last page. But it seemed like Fannie Lou Hamer was doing a good job of like putting in the money, but people were like putting in the effort to like, I guess they didn't see it as their own, or like whatever it is. It's like the classic like free rider problem where like some people are like down to put in the work and other people are just down to get the benefit and don't want to put in the work. And so we're seeing that in 1974, the business manager Joseph Harris, who ran most of Freedom Farm's programs and activities, he died, and those programs ceased to function because no one else was ready and able to take up the mantle. Shortly after that, Fannie Lou Hamer got sick, and it took her about 2 years to try and rescue the organization. She got a new board, and tried to get things up by the next year, 1977, but the attempt was unsuccessful. And basically, they end up losing their land to creditors. They sell some of their lots to the city, who says that they'll help. They sell 6 of their lots for $10 in 1977. That's not very much at all. And they receive a promise that part of the lots will be reserved to bury Fannie Lou Hamer. Parts of the lots will be used for the Freedom Farm, and that the city would maintain them. But like I feel like what you were saying, Pat, about like the money, it is key, but the real key here is like people weren't putting in effort. And when the two folks who were primarily driving it couldn't do it anymore, like one died and one got sick, it just fell apart. And that's the real tragedy. It's like they had everything set up and all the people needed to do was maintain the property and pay off the debts because they had the cash crop set up so that it can pay for itself, and they had it so that it could feed people. And that's the real tragedy for me.
Right.
And I feel like there's a lesson here for leaders, like I'm myself included. Like we have I guess
Communicate.
well, actually I know, but I don't like the answer. It's
But
allowing
tell
something
us.
to fail if they're going to fail, because like ultimately, if you're an owner, that means that you share in the profits and you share in the losses.
Right.
And so, yeah, like I guess there's like just seeing it from my point of view. Um, I think people learn best when it's they have the ability to like make their own decisions. Um, and I think that it's often easier to learn, or not as easy to learn when the training wheels are on. And so I try and throw people in the deep end as soon as I can, because I know that we can handle it. It's just a mental thing that's stopping us from it. But where am I going with this? I don't know. I don't know how to get people to say yes when like the plan is laid out before them. It's actually kind of maddening that I think it's still the case today. But yeah, that's my rant.
Man, I would say communicate. It's not in everyone's heart to do everything, man. You might have to talk to 1,500 people to find that one. But that's just, let me give you on your phone. Yeah, well, how many of those have we positioned with the opportunity to participate? Let's be, we just saw the other day a 10-day conference, brother. I'm even on myself, we have to communicate. We have to say like, the weight is getting too much. Like, I need y'all to do something. And you might need to kick somebody. That's why I like listening to Marcus Garvey, because he said a lot of pretty stuff, but he talked that smack. You ungrateful. Like he'd go there. Like, man, are you willing to do? Are you willing to participate? Are you willing to do what other men have done? Are you willing to do what other nations have done? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to lean on God and put it and pray and get up and do some work? And if not, then shut up, get out the way, and then let somebody else that want to hear this work and do something step up. We have to communicate more, brother. We
Yeah.
suffer quietly. We suffer peacefully too much until the end of the day, and we get to the end of the road, and we like, oh man, why have you forsaken me, Father? No, speak. And we might need to talk to 100,000 people to find 100 people. But hey, when we find them 100 people, they're gonna be ready, activated, and ready to carry the torch, brother.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Bro,
That's what I'm seeing in the Black Print, man. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. I'm hurt. My pockets hurt, y'all. I don't know what it might be. I'm gonna start talking, man.
yeah. Man, well, I'm learning how to do that because it's not as easy for me to just like say what's on my mind. I think a lot about like how the other person will receive it, and I'm trying to like craft the perfect thing to say. But oftentimes I'm noticing like it's just yeah,
That's
man.
real. And if you gotta apologize, apologize. If not, then keep rolling.
Yeah, but bro, I'm seeing in the chat that accountability should be part of the education process. Um, and yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, like I know like for me, I need some education, so we're probably gonna have to go get some other professionals to tell us like how do we keep others accountable, like because I feel confident that I can be accountable to what I said I'm gonna do, and if I'm in it and if I fall short, I'm quick to apologize because I know that's my fault, but I don't know if other people are like have that same desire or way of being about it. So yeah, I could definitely use that support. So we're gonna figure out how to get that for us and come back. What do you think, Ted?
Oh, no question. I'm pretty sure there's a workshop. We can start reading more of those chapters, books like that, by having somebody who does this type of work come spend some time with us and walk us through the process. I think that'll be very beneficial.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man.
So we'll definitely do that. I'm about to wrap it up for today. I think finishing up tomorrow with the lessons learned from the Freedom Farm. Uh, And then we're going to get into the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, which Fannie Lou Hamer also helped co-found. And so just there's just so much in this book that we can learn and draw from. I mean, we're getting to the, our time period. So, Mandela Grocery is at the end of the timeline in this book. And I'm hoping that, some of us end up in the version 2 of this. So let's just keep moving.
Yeah, hey, Kanita says that's Titus. Righteous also. This live helps with accountability. There you go. Being accountable, holding yourself accountable, you attract accountability. That's what's up. We all on here participating and bringing the information. So there you go, bro. Answers right there. Once again, a queen, brought the answer to us. Thank you, sister. I'll show you what's that. All right then, family. So is that it, man? We on live. Any DMs about the farm? You on, brother?